What's going on, guys? T-God here with another video. So I am back at work, as you currently can see, because I swear this is like my second home. I know last video was boring as shit. This video, I'm going to try to make it a little bit better and more interesting. I'm going to tell you guys a story of the time I became God. No, I'm just kidding. Nah, I'm just playing. I'm going to tell you how I got into skateboarding. Before we do that, let's hit the gym. So it all goes back 21 years ago. So for those of you who know me personally, I grew up in Las Vegas, Nevada, okay? Very awesome place if you want to get into skateboarding and like meet people and just be active, because that's a city that never sleeps. But obviously, me at 7 years old, I wasn't out doing all that stuff. There was a kid that was in the neighborhood that I seen. He was a little older than me, and I seen him rolling around on a skateboard, and I was like, bro, what the fuck? Like, what is that? You know what I'm saying? I was like, that looks interesting. And I was a little kid, and I would always stare out the window. I was always the kid that wanted to go out and play. I never really wanted to be inside. I hated being inside as a kid. I just wanted to go outside. I wanted to get, like, hanging out with the homies and stuff like that. Like, I wanted to get into trouble, like, as crazy as that sounds, but honestly, I just wanted to be active. I hated being inside as a kid. I just always liked being outside, but I also didn't like being dirty, which is crazy. I really, like, used to throw a fit, I guess, when I was a kid. My mom told me this, that I would literally, like, cry and throw a huge tantrum just because I was dirty, which goes to show, because obviously I'm a clean guy now, but, yeah, it's just, crazy. Anyway, I was always that shy kid though too when it came to like meeting people at first, because I'm not shy anymore, but at first it was more or less of like, oh, okay, like, you know, just kind of like, hi, like, you know, real kind of quiet or whatever. But then once I got to know you and you got to know me, I would just come out of my shell and I'm just like, like, you know, super comfortable and shit. I kind of think maybe I'm like that now, but not as much. I don't know. So I was always that kid that was staring out the window and, you know, playing music and stuff like on the TV. We didn't really have YouTube back then, so we used to have like music channels that we would go to. If you were old enough to know what I'm talking about, that's the OG way. Yeah, we didn't have fucking like, we didn't have anything, to be honest. When things came out on CDs and shit like that, like, dude, good times. I was about 6 years old, I'll never forget. There was this older kid that, I don't want to mention his name, but for those of you who know me personally, you know who I'm talking about. He was insane on a skateboard. I never in a million years would think somebody was that good on something like that had wheels on it. Like, you know, like as a kid, I would see like ads on the TV and like I would see things in like the paper and stuff, like, you know, little small stuff of like, you know, skateboarding things, and like, you didn't really know. Like, I didn't really fully get into it at first because I was just kind of like, oh, that sounds kind of cool, you know? But I didn't really get into it until I seen this kid. This kid was skating a curb that was outside of my house, and that curb actually taught me how to skateboard. I don't have any pictures, unfortunately. I wish I did, but if I could find one from, like, maybe Google Maps or something, I'll, like, zoom into it. It's right here, but, yeah, I used to skate this curb literally every day. And when I got better at skateboarding. But anyway, we'll get into that. Basically, this kid was doing tricks off of this curb, and I'm staring out this window. You know, think about me at 6 years old. I'm just staring at this window, watching this grown man skate this, like, curb, and it was blowing my mind, the tricks that he was doing. He was doing, like, double flips. Obviously, at the time, I didn't know what this was, but he was doing, like, double flips and triple flips and, like, impossibles and tray flips and, like, all types of shit off this curb, and it was just blowing my mind. Like, I was basically watching a pro, and it was insane. Once I seen this kid skating this curb, it immediately like clicked in my mind, like, I want to do that. So I was 6 years old when I got into skateboarding, but I didn't start skateboarding until I was 7. And I went to my mom, I'll never forget. I ran downstairs after I seen this, you know, the kid that skated away, and I like ran downstairs. I was telling my mom, like, I want to skateboard. And at first, you know, my mom's kind of like, bro, like, what are you talking about? Like, dude, no, like, you're not getting a skateboard, like, you're tripping, like, that's dangerous. You know, like, you know how parents are and stuff. And I was just so bummed when I heard that, and like, I really wanted to skate. So one day I remember going outside and I had met a kid that was in the neighborhood on my street, and he had a skateboard. And I was like, no way. He has a skateboard, like, yo, let me try that. So I grabbed this dude's skateboard. I remember we were learning how to skateboard together, and I would try to stand on the board and I couldn't do literally anything. Now at this point I was 6 years old still, I wasn't 7 yet. So I was standing on the board and I didn't do any tricks or anything. Every time I would stand on the board, I'd fall off and I would just like fall, boom, 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 boom. And you know, obviously getting all scraped and bruised up when you're a kid, you don't really think about shit like that. You're just kind of doing it just to have fun and, you know, in the moment type shit. So I'm sitting here standing on the board and I'm like trying to do these things, and eventually like standing on the board became like easier. And like I wasn't falling off, but I, you know, obviously I'm still like kind of like scared or whatever, but I could stand on the board actually and just stand there and not move. Now I did do this at first. We put it in rocks so it didn't move, but for some weird reason my brain was like completely messed up to where I would stand on the board in rocks and fall off. Like I don't know, maybe I was just being, you know, weird, but I don't know how the hell you fall off a board when it's in rocks because it doesn't move, but I guess my mindset was different back then. So eventually we took it to the street. I couldn't stand on the board. I would just fall off like all the time. Every time I would try to like stand and roll or go forward or go backwards, like I just couldn't do anything. And I just stopped at 6 years old. This is when I stopped. So I guess I technically started at 6, but I didn't really start till 7. So that's kind of when I want to, you know, count it at about 7. But so for my birthday, my 7th birthday, I asked my mom if we could go get a skateboard. I was begging her, like every week I would talk about it at least once or twice. And I think my mom just eventually was just like, fuck it. Let's just go get this kid a board. Let's see what he does with it. So came December 20th, my 7th birthday. I go downstairs and, you know, my mom used to put my gifts around the house and have me go and like try to find them. Like she kind of made it a game when I was younger and I thought it was really fun. So what I would do is I was trying to look for all my gifts, and I ended up finding the skateboard was the very first gift that I found. I went into the laundry room. I'll never forget. It was behind the door. It wasn't wrapped or anything, and I just like freaked out, like flipping out. She was hoping that I found that last, but I found it first, and I was just freaking out. Like my mom was like super happy. I wish we had it on film and I would play it right now. I hate that we didn't really have phones back then that was like this quality of a video. But I really just wish that we had a camera or something just to capture that moment. It was such a beautiful moment. I was ecstatic. Like, I didn't give a shit about any of the other gifts. And I had some pretty dope gifts. Like, I had got video games and like a bunch of stuff that my mom got me when I was younger. But I didn't give a shit about all that. I just wanted to skate. So I literally grabbed the board and immediately went into the garage and tried to stand on the board, and I fell. Naturally, with me falling in front of my mom and her seeing this, she was instantly like, oh, baby, this is a mistake. Why did I get you this board? But she wasn't really like saying those things because it was my birthday and obviously I'm a little kid, but I just knew that that's what was going through her mind. Like, oh, great, what did I sign myself up for type shit. But honestly, shout out to my mom, because if it wasn't for her letting me continue to skateboard, dude, I would have to have waited till I was like in my teens. So basically, with that being said, I just was trying to do it again. I stood up on the board, like right after I fell, like it kind of hurt low-key, but I stood up and I got back on the board and I didn't fall, and I sat there and was just dealing with my balance. And then I wanted to learn how to ride it, because obviously, I mean, standing on the board is like one thing, but I kind of want to roll on it. Like I want to see like how that dude was doing shit off the curb. Like I wanted to do that. So I was so determined that every single day I would literally go into the garage and stand on the board. And then eventually I got the courage to go outside with my board, and I would try to like roll down the driveway because I just wanted to roll. We had like a really mellow driveway. I'll try to put a picture on the screen without like showing the address, but we had like a really mellow driveway and I just wanted to roll down it. But every time I would try to like get on the driveway, I would slip at the top, or I would like make it to the middle and fall forward. Like, dude, I ate so much shit probably for the first like 3 years on my board. It was crazy. But eventually I got better and I was able to actually ride the board, but I was doing something that people like to call back in my time was piss pedaling or mongo pushing. I didn't know how to actually push properly on the board. Years! It took years to actually learn that, because even when I was in high school, I was still mongo pushing. If you guys are skateboarders, you know what I'm talking about. For those of you who don't skate, mongo pushing is basically pushing with your opposite foot forward. Or no, backwards. Oh no, I'm gonna just I'm gonna put a video on the screen of me in high school. I actually played this video in the last video. That's Mongo pushing. It looks ugly as hell. It ain't supposed to look like that. It's supposed to be like normal. Bro, that shit, I never really had to even try to explain that low key. Yeah, it's just, it looked goofy. With that being said, basically, I just wanted to learn how to ride the board, and I eventually got good to the point to where I was rolling down my driveway, and, you know, I was rolling through the streets and stuff, and I thought I was doing really, really well. But honestly, I wasn't really doing much. I just rolled around on my board. Like, I wanted to learn how to do tricks, and I had no idea how to pop the board. I had literally no clue on how these people are jumping off the board and landing back on it after it flipped. Still to this day, 21 years later, blows my mind the things that I see on skateboards. Like, I just don't understand how the fuck do you flip out to a down rail? Like, are you crazy? Well, basically, with that being said, that's kind of how I got into skateboarding. I was just rolling around, and it took years to learn the tricks that I know now. Like, every single day I would go out to the park, and there was a bench right outside of my house, and I would hold that bench and try to, like, do tricks and stuff. Like, I really wish that I had a video of me. That bench was so small, but back then, when I was young, that bench was huge. So, you know, me holding that was just teaching me how to do everything, and it was just incredible. Okay, so fast forward a few days later, I wanted to apologize for not posting. A lot of shit has been going down, but it's all good. We vibing, we chilling, and we cruising, you know what I'm saying? And we gonna still continue to pump out videos as much as possible. And honestly, I don't know why my blanket's like this, but I dig it. My hair's kind of coming off the top too. Fuck it. So basically, that's kind of how I got into skateboarding, honestly. Like, I would hold that bench, I would do hella tricks, and honestly, it was fire to be able to, like, do that, because if it really wasn't for that curb, that kid, and that bench, I probably honestly would have never really got into skateboarding, because I was just so determined. And that's the thing that I really enjoy about the story, is that I was so determined, and I had my mind set on something, and I just stuck to it. And I'm just really thankful that I'm still able to do that to this day. And honestly, it's just, I wouldn't give it up. So if you want to hear a part 2 of this video, just let me know in the comments below, and I'll definitely continue to, like, get more in depth of it, because honestly, there's a bigger picture of skateboarding that I didn't really say or mention, like how I got my first pro board, or, you know, where my first skateboard deck is currently to this day. Because honestly, it is not in my possession, it's in somebody else's possession, but that person is someone who's very close to me, which I haven't mentioned him, but he is a huge part of the story. So if you guys want to hear a part 2, just let me know, and I'll let you guys know in another video, because honestly, that part of the story is really dope. So I hope y'all want a part 2. Anyway, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You guys said you really enjoyed, like, hearing me do stories and, like, do longer videos like this where I just kind of talk to you guys. And honestly, I enjoy these videos because I get to actually vent to somebody, because I don't really feel like I get to talk to anybody about, like, what's going on, or, you know, tell people about some cool shit that I had in the past. Like, it's actually awesome to be able to have, like, this one-on-one conversation with you guys, because I don't know, I just feel connected this way, you feel me? So yeah, it's like 3 a.m. I'm about to go to sleep. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, I apologize for the late uploads, but don't trip. We're back on schedule. Every other day I'll be posting, and we gonna stick to it no matter what. Doesn't matter if it's gonna be some bullshit ass video, we gonna post every other day, all right? I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video, in the next adventure. Let's keep rocking, you know what I'm saying? Because y'all are killing it with the likes and comments and shit. Like, I fuck with y'all. All right, peace.